Hey, y'all, it's Mandy. Before we dive into this week's episode, I just want to take a moment and thank my patrons and premium subscribers who have been here partnering with me to create this work. I love doing this with a team. So if you are interested in being someone who creates this resourcing for people who live in care deserts or who just don't have a safe community to discuss grief, check out the show notes to become a patron of the show. You'll get access to monthly bonus episodes as well as our live chat over on Discord. And I would love to hear from you. Okay, that's all I had to say. Now let's get into this week's episode. Welcome back to Restorative Grief with Mandy Capehart. You are listening to episode 80, titled What Not to Do When Grieving. Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 80 of the podcast. This week, I'm excited to share a secret that I've learned about grieving and the one thing you absolutely need to avoid. This is a quick, to-the-point conversation because while I am sure there is a long list of things we could talk about, there's only one particular thing I want to bring to your attention this week. So what are we waiting for? Let's get to it. When we are first faced with grief, we can get a little weird. No matter how you approach loss, you're likely searching for answers. Maybe you find them in your spiritual practice, in books and podcasts. Every day, there are more and more resources available to create deeper understanding and grief literacy in your life. It's a fast growing field of study, and I'm so grateful to be a part of the opportunity to teach and lead others into a better way of grieving. But with all of those resources, we bring one of our very human habits that can easily derail our growth, grief work, and ultimately our healing altogether. And that is choosing a guru. Now, you might think that choosing a guru to follow, a teacher full of wisdom and insight, would be a worthy thing to do. Find someone that you resonate with and want to work alongside as you follow your healing path. That's great, right? Well, to a degree, yeah, you should find someone that resonates. For the rest of our little chat today, I'm going to assume that I'm that teacher that you found who resonates with your grief story. But the problem with choosing someone, one person, and placing them on a pedestal as your guru is that you may forget their humanity as you study their work. It's so easy to place someone on a higher plane and celebrate what they do, but fail to see how much you rely on their presence for your own healing journey. And that reliance is not fair to you or to me or to anyone else that you've given that level of honor. And here's why. A few weeks ago, you may have noticed I started sending a newsletter again every other day during the week. The response was immediate and positive. Thank goodness. My subscribers loved sharing thoughts on life and loss in the morning, and I've gotten so many responses from people that just make my whole day. Like clockwork, I remained on schedule, sending a short missive Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to people interested in supporting themselves a little bit differently through loss. But this week, my own world careened into all of my good intentions. Wednesday came and went. And when I woke up Thursday morning, I had something lovely to write about and realized I was a day late. Immediately, I slammed face first into a wall of regret, shame, and disappointment over an email. I had failed. I set a guideline for myself, allowed people to get excited about it, and so quickly I missed the mark. I wrote the email I wanted to write on Wednesday and hit send. I felt a little better knowing something was available, but I also wondered if the disappointment of not hearing from me on the expected schedule was going to derail someone's grief work. I felt similarly about this show, to be honest. It's a weekly episode that takes a lot of time and intention to craft, edit, record, and publish, and I'm the only one doing it. How would listeners be impacted if I took a week off? When I started this work, I did so with the intention of humility in mind because I never wanted to be anyone's guru. Not because I'm scared I won't meet your expectations necessarily. Those fears I felt about missing an email and worrying about a missed podcast episode are just my own ego trying to protect me. My desire for humility in this work is because the brilliance, insight, and growth you need is within you. See, my words may be helpful and activating at times. With any teacher, you'll hear something that seems new or different than how you've heard it before. But that only matters if and when it sparks something new in you. When you are activated and then move from that place with compassionate curiosity toward whatever little thought is now dancing across your brain, that is when it matters. See, we're all human, we're all imperfect, and we're all in a position of influence, even if the only one we feel that we can impact is ourselves. Every grief professional you encounter hopes they can inspire you to think differently because that's all we can do. Offer words and hope you find movement and inspiration within them. You are literally the only person who can decide to think differently, and being inspired to do it isn't enough. See, I'm not so naive to believe that my work is full of the most groundbreaking work on grief, but I also trust that what I bring to the conversation is available to change the narrative. In this place, with a deeper narrative available to you, I'm inviting you to look deeper within yourself. Go beyond being inspired. Grief work and grief professionals exist for you to become connected with the innate wisdom of your body, of your lived experience. We talk a lot about how we are whole beings, not disparate parts, but parts of a whole, working in tandem to keep us safe and stable. The path of least resistance is usually what we choose, especially because that path allows us to preserve mental calories and energy output. Theoretically, that path prolongs our survival. But your body is tracking what your mind, heart, and spirit are unwilling to process. This makes me think about the days I was a summer camp director in my early 20s. I always had a backpack full of sunblock, first aid supplies, snacks, and entertainment. I carried things my campers needed to access later, although most of the times they forgot about them and I was returning them at the end of the day. The kids had, of course, been distracted and having too much fun or too overwhelmed to remember what I carried for them. But those things still existed, and someone had to carry them. So we don't all have a camp director willing to schlep granola bars up a mountain trail for us. When we have something to carry in our lives, we're usually okay, or perhaps insistent, on doing it for ourselves. But what of the emotions, thoughts, connections, and somatic feelings we carry? Just because they're intangible doesn't mean we aren't being weighed down. You're a griever. You know that weight to be true in your bones. And that's exactly it. Your bones know. Your body is carrying things for you until you're ready to give them your attention and metabolize them through your being. But just like my backpack from summer camp, your body gets to a point where it's just too damn full. The weight is too much, and things need to be dropped, removed, or thrown out as no longer worth carrying. I'm not your guru. You are the source of wisdom here. You contain multitudes, the wisdom and insight to reflect on your story without reliving your traumas and to shake out what the impact of those traumas has done to your life, looking at the effect and not necessarily rehashing the cause. What you carry through this life is up to you. And while working with me or other grief professionals is a wonderful step in the right direction, we're just navigators. We can read you a map, but it's up to you to follow the directions. Thank you for listening to episode 80 of Restorative Grief. One of the things I love about this conversation is that the responsibility is lifted from my plate as a helper in the world around us. It's not now and will never be my job to resolve or heal your grief. My job is simply to make an open and safe space, to ask questions, to challenge your ideas about loss, and to share my education and experience as another source of reflection for you. We end the show each week with the same reminder, and when I missed sending that email on time this week, I wondered how many people were disappointed and felt less equipped to do the work for themselves. How many listeners and readers have come to rely on me as a source or an activator in their lives? If that's you, that's okay. Don't pick up any shame right now because that's not the point. My point is to remind you that even the moment you realize the email is missing, you are being given a sign. That idea, that thought that you've missed something is a signal to look inward. What does one missed email of encouragement feel like in my body? What did the missed email mean to my heart, thoughts, or grief work for the day? It's not an easy question to ask, but it's a necessary one. one that will allow you to embody your grief work in a way you never thought possible, but have always truly needed to learn. If this is your first time listening to Restorative Grief, thank you for being here. Thank you to all my patrons and financial supporters. If you are interested in joining our Patreon for premium episodes or our quarterly live grief chats, you can find the links at mandykapehart.com or in the show notes. You can also use our website to subscribe to my email list, the very one we talked about, and hopefully you'll receive 98% of them in a timely manner. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast before you leave a shiny 5-star review because those make my day, and share this episode with a friend. We all need a reminder to be confident in who we are and what we carry. And one last thing, as always, please remember, the only solution for grief is to do the work of grieving. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next week.